Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to connect two worlds that seem, really far apart. Bangladesh, a textile powerhouse in Asia, and Latin America, a massive market over 15,000 kilometers away. But this isn't just about geography. It's about a really smart strategic play that could reshape trade in the global south.
So here's a question for you. If you're an export giant like Bangladesh, how do you possibly get any bigger? The answer isn't just making more of the same stuff for the same customers, it's about finding totally new playing fields. And that means you have to look at the world map in a completely new way.
And that's really what this whole story is about: ambition, strategy, and connecting these two economic powerhouses. But to really get the solution, we've got to understand the problem Bangladesh is trying to solve first.
Okay, so first things first, the challenge. You see, to understand why Bangladesh is making this huge pivot, we have to look at the hidden risks that are kind of baked into its incredible success story.
So here's the thing. Their export machine is, it's amazing, but it's also really, really concentrated. We're talking mostly apparel, sold to the same few markets in Europe and North America. And that, right there, is a huge risk, especially because Bangladesh is about to graduate from its least developed country status, which basically means all those special preferential trade deals, they're about to change.
And hey, this isn't just some vague idea. The government has literally put it down in black and white. Their latest national export policy is basically a roadmap for finding new stuff to sell and, maybe more importantly, new places to sell it. The hunt for new partners is officially on.
So, where are they looking? You might be surprised. The answer is literally halfway across the globe, in Latin America. Let's dig into why this massive, faraway region is suddenly the big strategic focus.
Okay, first off, just look at the sheer scale of this place. We're talking about a market of over 660 million people. Now, to put that in perspective for you, that's more people than the entire European Union. It's more than the United States. This is not a niche market.
And it's not just about the number of people, right? That population has some serious spending power. A combined GDP of over $7 trillion. That means there is a huge, hungry market for the exact kind of manufactured goods that Bangladesh is so good at making.
But the real magic here, the secret sauce, is that this isn't just a one-way street. These two economies, they're almost perfectly complementary. What one needs, the other has. And that's the foundation for a real partnership, something symbiotic, not just a simple case of you buy my stuff.
Okay, so you have this huge region, right? But within it, one country really stands out as the natural starting point, the main gateway for this whole strategic push.
All right, this chart is really interesting. It tells two stories at the same time. First, you can see that trade is already happening. The shipping lanes, the logistics, it all exists. But second, just look at that massive imbalance. Brazil sells almost 10 times more to Bangladesh than it buys from them. Now that gap, that isn't a problem. It's a huge, flashing sign that says, opportunity here.
Exactly. That's the key takeaway. This isn't a weakness to be fixed, it's the ultimate proof of concept. It shows that Bangladeshi products can and do get to the Brazilian market. It just means there is so much room to grow and balance those scales.
So what would actually be moving back and forth on this new, let's call it a south-south superhighway? Let's take a look at the actual goods.
And here it is. You can see that complementarity right here. On one side, you've got Bangladesh's finished goods, the clothes, shoes, ceramics. And on the other side, you've got all the raw materials that Latin America has in abundance. Raw cotton, soybeans, sugar. It's like a perfect loop, right? Raw materials flow one way to fuel the factories, and then the finished products flow right back to the consumers.
And remember, Brazil is just the entry point. This model is already working in other parts of the region. Take Mexico. They're already a huge market for Bangladeshi goods, importing way more than Brazil does right now. This just proves that the strategy isn't about one country. It's a blueprint for the entire continent.
But let's get practical. How do you actually turn all this potential into reality on the ground? Potential is one thing, but making it happen is another. And that's where institutions become absolutely essential.
This is where an organization like the BBCI, that's the Brazil-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry, comes into play. Their entire mission, their reason for being is to be that bridge, to connect businesses and just smooth out the process of trading between these two very distant economies.
So what does the chamber actually do? Well, their job is basically to reduce the friction of doing business across continents. They handle the really tough stuff, the market research, figuring out all the regulations, and most importantly, building trust. This makes it so much easier for a Bangladeshi company to enter the market, a company that might otherwise look at the 15,000-kilometer distance and just say, no way.
So, when you zoom out, this whole strategy is about so much more than just the numbers on a trade balance sheet. It's about a fundamental shift in perspective. It's about repositioning Bangladesh not just as a supplier to the West, but as a major trading partner within the powerful, dynamic economies of the global South.
So, this ambitious link between Bangladesh and Latin America, it's more than just a trade story, isn't it? It's really a glimpse into the future of global commerce. It makes you wonder, as the old trade routes start to change, what are the new corridors of power going to look like? And what other unexpected partnerships are just waiting to be built, connecting the dots all across the global South?